Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Today, it's Super Bowl weekend and I want to make a sandwich. Except I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to make the bread, we're going to roast up some peppers, and then we're going to show you how to put together this incredible sandwich. So stay tuned and enjoy. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? It's Super Bowl weekend. Now, I know with all the junk that's going on, there's no big gatherings, there's no huge buffets, there's no going to the local bar to watch the game. But I still want to make something that every Super Bowl I've made, every Super Bowl as long as I can remember I've made, and to me it's just a tradition. It's a great sandwich. But I don't want to just show you how to make a sandwich. You guys all know how to do that. We're going to make our own bread. We're going to roast up some peppers. We're going to assemble the sandwich once everything is done. So it's a bit of a process, but they're all easy and it's all stuff I know you guys can do. So first things first is we've got some nice little peppers, like I say, that we're going to roast. And you don't have to do anything fancy. The easier the better. Let's face it, during normal times, you want to be watching the game, not doing this. So I'm just going to adjust this camera a touch so that hopefully, whoops. There we go. Hopefully now that we can see what I'm doing here. And literally I'm just cutting what they call the cheeks of the pepper off. A good sharp knife definitely makes this easier. Make sure there's no stickers. I hate those little stickers. I know why they're there. I know it's easy. And someone actually told me once they're printed on an edible paper. You know what? Not for me. So all I've done is I've roughly chopped this up. We're just going into nice big chunks. Because like I say, this is just going in a sandwich. You can do nice little strips. You can be as fancy as you want. But, like I said, this is about time and being easy. I do try and get the seeds out, though, because those taste horrible. Good sharp knife always comes in handy in the kitchen. There we go. So our peppers are done. I've got my good old cast iron. I already have some oil in here. I'm just going to get those bits. Like I said, I already have some oil in there. Into the oven they go. That's going to be in there for about 15-20 minutes. So, nothing hard. Just going to do a little swap. Give my counter, my work island, quick rub down. And next, we're going to get our bread done. So what I have is just our standard pizza dough. It's the same one I've used in every recipe. The recipe is on the website. It's going to be in the description. Excuse me. And if you check out the first ever video, you can watch me make it. It's super easy to do. I made this yesterday. I let it rest overnight so it gets a better flavor. And then I pulled it out this morning. I don't really have to worry about letting it rise because it's going to rise on this pan. So I just have big old 9x12. I'm going to spray it down with a bit of oil. This is going to do two things. I'm trying to work with this new camera angle so you can see what I'm doing here, but I keep cutting myself off, so I don't care. This is going to do things. One, it's going to make it a little bit easier to spread it out. Two, when it goes into the oven after it rises, that oil is going to help cook the underside of this bread. Because that's what we're making here, is a bread. What we're making is a focaccia, which is an Italian flatbread. Super simple. Now, the recipe for the dough that I have makes approximately 1 kilo of dough. And all I'm doing here, because you know me, I'm lazy. I don't like rolling things out whenever I don't have to, is I'm just pressing it into my pan. Really hard so far, eh? This is a true classic rustic bread that is just great as it is, or like I say, in this case, we're going to turn this into a huge sandwich. So, our bread is all patted out. I want to get it into the corners. It is going to shrink and fight a little bit on you. That's okay. Just press it down. Now, what we want to do is we want to start building a little bit of flavor on here. So, as always, I've forgotten something over in the closet. We've got some nice olive oil. And we're just going to pour a little bit right on there. This is going to add some flavor. It's going to definitely help with the browning. But it's also, right now, it's going to stop this bread or the crust on it from drying out. Because now that this is done, there we go, it's all nice and coated. This corner is being a little bit stubborn, but you know what? I don't care. So we have our oiled pan. Now, if you give me a sec, I'm going to go wash these oily hands. Okay. So our bread, as it is now, would be great. But it's a focaccia. So we want to add stuff to it. We want to make the bread part of the sandwich, an enjoyable part of the sandwich, not just what holds all together. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt. I just find it's easier to do it like this. I can get a better idea of where it's going. There we are. I've always loved, pull this back into view, some nice fresh cracked pepper on there. Of course, gotta have a little garlic powder. Doesn't take a lot. Don't forget, this is only the bread, and there's going to be a lot more flavors inside of all this. And then finally, I just have some hot spiced olives. Again, sorry I keep going out of view, and this, I'm just going to take, I don't know how many this is going to need. One for the chef. I'm just going to very quickly is a rough chop. Sprinkle some on our focaccia. A little more. And as you can see, I'm just doing a very, very rough chop. Yes, I know this knife rattles. Something came loose in there, but it still does a really good job for what I need. And yeah, I love olives, so for me, can't have enough of it. There we go. Like I said, this is all just quickly, roughly chopped. There we are. Again, we'll move this out of the way. Put that back. Where's my rag? There we are. Nice little wipey. So we have our focaccia with our olives. Now what I always do is I just lightly press the olives into the bread. Now as this dough rises, they will go into it some more, but never hurts to give it a hand. If you see you've got a little area that's missing some, just move them around. Now, if you don't like olives, don't put them on. You can leave it with just the salt, the pepper, the garlic, the olive oil, or you can put whatever you want on here. Garlic and Parmesan. Put a layer of cheddar cheese on it, but do that before it finishes baking. But for right now, I don't know if this bag is going to be big enough. Nope. So, we are just going to use a little bit of plastic wrap here. I hate this stuff with a passion. First of all, it's no good for the environment. And second of all, it's a pain to work with. But there are times it's a necessary evil. And yes, I know this comes in a box that has that fancy little tear thing. But when, whoops, you aren't paying attention and the box gets wet and destroyed, that little fancy tear thing does absolutely nothing for you. So there. So my bread now is all covered up. And now, while my peppers are roasting, there we go. Now while my peppers are roasting, I'm going to let this rise. How long? Unfortunately, I can't give you a time on that. Depends on the temperature in your house, how cold the dough was, everything. We want it to roughly double in size. So in this case, because of how it is, I want the dough almost to be level with the top of the pan, if not a bit above it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bake this off. So for right now, there's nothing else to watch. Peppers are cooking. Dough is all done. Once this gets ready to go into the oven, we'll show you the baking. We'll show you the roasted peppers when they come out. And then we get to build this incredible sandwich. So until then, it is time for some... You know me, I always have my coffee. Oven's telling me it's ready. Those peppers, by the way, are roasting at 450 degrees. So, and they'll take about, like I say, 20-25 minutes. We want to get a char on them. You'll see when they come out. So, until then, Do like me, enjoy a nice cup of coffee. We'll see you all soon. Hey everyone, just a quick little update. We've got our gorgeous roasted peppers. They've got a nice char on them. Now, if you want to take the time and peel the skins off, that's fine. Roast them up in bigger pieces, just be easier to handle. And then when they come out of the oven, put them in a paper bag, let them sit there for like 5 minutes and the skins will peel right off. Me personally, I don't care if the skins are there or not. And then our dough. You can see it's doubled up in size. Nice and fluffy to the touch. I'm still going to let this rest for at least another half hour to an hour. I want it like really fluffy. So we're just going to let that go. Like I said, I just want to give everyone a quick update what's going on. The oven is getting nice and hot. 450 degrees. When this is ready to go in, it's only going to take about maybe 15 minutes to cook up. Then comes the fun, and we get to make some sandwiches. We'll see you all in a bit. Hello, everyone. You can tell the sun's up nice and bright now, and we are so close. In fact, let's just do it. It's sandwich time. We took our focaccia out of the oven. So as you can see, nice and golden brown. A lot of those olives have sunk right into the bread. So I just had it on a couple of cooling racks. I didn't actually have one that was big enough for everything. So what I did forget though was a cutting board. There we go. Get these racks out of the way. Get our good old knife. Now, normally, if I had everyone over and the house was full of people, I would split this whole thing right in half and build the sandwiches one and then chop it up into pieces. But I don't, it's just me. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to cut this in half. Obviously, if you have a bread knife, it'll be easier. I just don't know where mine is gone. Now what I want to do is, you can just see towards the middle of the bread, we are going to split this now in half. And when you have a nice long knife, it makes it easier. But unfortunately, I left mine at the shop. Yes, I do bring my own knives to work. You've asked before what are good knives to use, and it's the knives you're comfortable using. Well, I don't like the knives at work so much, so I use my own, but every once in a while, I'll be in a rush to leave or something, and I leave them there, which isn't the best, but there we go. So all we have done now is split this into two pieces. I'm just going to put that aside. So we have our bottom half here, and let the fun begin. I have some sliced mozzarella. This was just mozzarella that came in a big block. I roughly chopped it up by hand. If you want to buy slices or you want to use a different type of cheese, go for it. Provolone, whatever. Swiss cheese if that's your choice. If you don't like cheese, leave it out. Next comes those gorgeous roasted peppers that we cooked up in the olive oil. A little bit of salt and pepper and garlic. Now, we do want to try and spread so they cover everything. And I've lost my rag. There we go. We want to try and keep it fairly even. Next, and as always, I should have, well, not too bad. Should have opened these before. Now here's where you can have fun. You can put whatever you like in here. I'm going with a little bit of spicy sopressata, just because I really like this. It's a nice dry cured salami. This one has some spice to it. There is mild as well. And that worked out perfect. I also have here some really nice prosciutto. That's great. These packs are opening easy. Excuse me. Now, if you have... Look, that's the one problem with prosciutto sometimes. It can be a little hard to separate, but doesn't matter. It still tastes great, even if it breaks up a bit. Now, this stuff, obviously, we all know is not cheap, but a little goes a long way. So we're just going to get all of this on here. Little plastic separators are actually making it harder, I think. Almost there. Doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to taste good, as I always say. But again, I do want to make sure we have some everywhere. There we go. Oh yeah. Then we have some Genoa salami. Again, this is a nice dry cured salami. A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of pepper, a lot of really nice flavors. Again, we're just going to layer this on. And you can fill, I'm just filling this with some Italian deli meat, but you can fill this with whatever you like. Make a really big ham and cheese. Do a meatball, sausage and peppers. I've done this, filled it with doing like a Philly cheesesteak. I'm just putting another layer of the sopressata on, since I have some more here. And you can make this as thin or as thick as you want. I was talking about fillings. You could even fill this just with some nice roast vegetables. Try and make it healthier for the game. I don't know why you would, though. Now, we're going to add a little bit of muffaletta spread. This is going to add a lot of flavor. Again, it's going to add a little bit of heat. The oil and the vinegar in here, believe it or not, will help to cut down, well, I don't know, some of the fattiness of the meats. But it's also going to add a ton of its own flavor. And as I said before, jardiniere is just a mix of all kinds of vegetables. You have carrots, cauliflower, onion, garlic, peppers. There is some more olives in there as well. So we're going to go back with some more cheese. And like I say, you don't have to be fancy with this. It's all going to be hidden and covered. But you do want to try and at least do it so that everyone's going to get a bite. Look, a little bit more cheese there. And there is, it's heavy. There's our assembled bottom half. Now, if you want, I'm not a fan of this, but I know a lot of people are, you can now go and put some shredded lettuce, some onion, some tomato, whatever veggies you want in there. Again, if I wanted a salad, I'd make a salad. Having it in my sandwich for me, not my thing. What I do want to do though, I've left it in the fridge, of course, is add a dressing. Just like when you get your subs at your favorite restaurant or something, they always seem to have a house dressing. Well, 90% of the time, it's just Kraft Golden Italian dressing. But I find it works really, really well. And you don't want to drench this. You just want a little bit. There we go. And that's it. We are done. We can now put our top back on to the sandwich. Give it a nice little press so everything sticks together. And there we go. I said you can make a monster sandwich and add a ton more meats and cheese and stuff in there. But with the richness of the meats I've chosen, whoop, try to move some stuff there. I know I don't need any more. This is going to be enough. Now, if you want to build this the day before the game, feel free. Wrap this in a couple of layers of saran wrap, then in some tin foil, put it into the fridge overnight. Couple of hours before the game is when you want to take it out and let it come up to room temperature. But otherwise, we're ready to go now. And you know I have to. Now, I'm not going to pick up this whole thing, although I'm tempted to. The bread is nice and crisp. Go for a nice piece. And when you cut into it, you can see how good that looks on the inside. You've got a little bit of the cheese, you've got the giardiniera, you've got all the meats. Of course, we have all the seasoning on the bread as well. Yum. And there we go. Because the bread was still a bit warm, the cheese is even melting a bit. You don't have to wait for the big game to make a great sandwich. Make this up. Keep it in the fridge. Keep a good few days. Always have a chunk ready when you want. I've made this, wrap them really well in tin foil and stuff, put it in the freezer. Take it out the night before. Bring it to work the next day for lunch. It's up to you. Having people over, cut this up into little bite-sized pieces. Got a great party platter. But in the meantime, just look at that. I know I have to. The flavors of all the meats coming through. The little hit of spice from the giardiniera. And tanginess from the dressing that we put on. The saltiness that we're getting from the spiced olives that we put on, as well as the garlic and the salt and pepper. Just an incredible sandwich. I really, really hope you take the time, try this out. If you don't go as far as making the whole sandwich, make the bread. Great with pasta, just as a side to a dinner. Incredible. So this video showed a few things. We showed just a real simple way to roast up some veg. A great, rustic, simple and easy dough that you can do with our standard pizza dough. And then we turned it all into a killer sandwich. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. This way, you're aware when I come out with new videos, normally about once a week, sometimes 2 or 3, all depends. If you're returning to the channel, thank you for coming back. Please make sure to leave a comment. And if you liked this video, share it over social media. Hit that share button. It's free to do. It helps me out. And maybe you have friends who want to try something like this as well. So, until next time, I am the 5 p.m. chef. My name is Andrew. Thank you for stopping by my kitchen, and we'll see you all again next time. Have a great weekend, and I hope your team wins.